Hello guys, and today I am recording a video again with the help of my laptop web camera. Alright, enough playing around. So yes, today I'm planning to tell you about my favorite movies/films. I'm recording this video because maybe you haven't watched some of the movies that I find supreme and brilliant and you are interested in watching them now. Or maybe we have the same taste in good movies. Don't worry, I've written the script of this video beforehand so that I would be talking really fast and it won't take a whole eternity to describe all the films. My plan is to tell you the title of the movie, a brief description of what is going on, what it is about, and some unique features of it, like why I like it so much and what appeals to me in this movie the most. Also, since I'm really into acting, the list of one's favorite movies is very important to me as it can tell you a lot about the person's personality, interests, etc. I also want to mention one thing. I'm not a sentimental person, which means that it's hard to make me laugh or especially cry. But movies that achieve this, in my opinion, are masterpieces. So let's begin! Back to the Future, a story about a brilliant scientist, Emmett Brown, who invents the time machine. But when things go wrong, his young helper and friend Marty travels in time and gets stuck in the past and in the future, and his actions influence the present greatly. He has to fix everything and find a way to travel back before it's too late. A very obvious choice, to be honest. What can be said about this movie? It's a brilliant comedy, an exciting adventure movie with a lot of wise quotes and a thoughtful message. Also, even though I've watched all the three movies for 100 times, I still feel very worried about the characters when they are in serious trouble, and I just find this unbelievably amazing. Bin, a story about a well-meaning but hopelessly clumsy and destructive man, Mr. Bean, who has to represent the National Gallery of London during a very important conference in Los Angeles. He manages to ruin the picture that costs $50 million, and now he has to solve this problem somehow. This comedy is probably the best comedy in the world. I always laugh at all the jokes in it. The story is great too, and it fills you with the most positive emotions, and Rowan Atkinson is one of the most talented and hilarious comedians in the world, and certainly a genius. Hangover, a story about four guys who wanted to have a bachelor party in Las Vegas. They wake up the following day with no memory of the previous night and the bachelor missing. They make their way around the city in order to find their friend before his wedding. Why is this movie great? The plot? The humor? The actors? Yes! A highly entertaining comedy with a great plot and many jokes that make me laugh every time. Groundhog Day, a story about a man who has to live the same day over and over again. At first he enjoys his curse, but then he gets bored and upset about it. He wants to end his suffering, but he doesn't know how. A classic comedy that is very well known and loved around the world. A little bit of magic, love, drama, action, humor, talented acting, and you've got a masterpiece. The Lovely Bones. When you almost thought that I only watch funny sweet comedies, I strike you in the heart with one of the most moving and heartbreaking dramas. A story about a dead girl named Susie who gets stuck in the in-between realm. She was so young, she dreamed of having a long and happy life. And then she was murdered. But she doesn't want to die, to leave her family and go to afterlife. This movie makes you look at life differently. It teaches you how to appreciate every moment of your life and the time you spend with your beloved ones more. When Susie goes into the den with Mr. Harvey, you can feel her fear, and it's a fantastic experience. I always get goosebumps. The actors are godlike, really. I also like and support the idea of the afterlife that is shown there. The Little Mermaid, a story about a mermaid, Ariel, who dreams of becoming a human. She's ready to make great sacrifices to let her dream come true and win the heart of her beloved prince. I've always loved this movie. It has enchanting soundtrack and probably the most breathtaking transformation sequence. No matter what, I will always consider it to be my favorite Disney animated movie. Also, thanks for making me learn the English language, Ariel. Nice job! Labyrinth, a story about a girl named Sarah who asks the goblins from her favorite fantasy story to come and take her little stepbrother Toby with them. What she doesn't know is that the Goblin City is real, and even though Sarah regrets her words now, it's too late. The Goblin King Jareth agrees to give Toby back if Sarah gets to the center of his labyrinth, where everything seems possible and nothing is what it seems. I listen to this movie's soundtrack every day. David Bowie is a magical singer. I remember the time when I watched this movie for the first time, and I was so excited and surprised because of an amazing plot twist at the end. This movie defies all the stereotypes of how a fairy tale like this should end. And this is why I love and respect it. The special effects were not developed so well back then, but it gives this movie a chance to use very real costumes and puppets, which I also adore. The Swan Princess, a story about a princess named Odette who is forced to transform into a swan every day because of an evil curse that a wizard named Rothbard put on her in order to take over her father's kingdom. Everyone is convinced that she is dead, and only her beloved Prince Derek believes that he can still find and save Odette, but he doesn't yet know that he will also have to help her break the spell and fight against the dark magic. This movie has great songs and wonderful jokes, and these jokes are witty and funny, and these songs are sweet and inspiring. Yes, there are some plot holes and mistakes, but I can forgive this movie everything because there are more decent scenes and quotes than the lame ones. Now You See Me, a story about 4 tricksters who use their skills to achieve justice and punish bad people. They are chased by the police, but the worst thing is that they have no idea whom they are working for, which means that they might easily get caught and waste a lot of time for nothing. An Illuminati film, huh? Finally! Yay! I don't know if you can see that, but I'm wearing a Now You See Me necklace. Have I already mentioned that I listen to the Labyrinth soundtrack every day? Add Now You See Me Ost to this list. Brian Tyler, you're a genius. The movie is beyond amazing, and I just can't imagine a person who wouldn't like it. A sane person with a good taste for films, of course. Howl's Moving Castle, a story about a young lady named Sophie who lives a quiet and timid life with almost no ambitions and passions. But everything changes when she briefly encounters a handsome wizard Howl and then gets transformed into a 90-year-old lady by a jealous and ugly witch of the waste. Now, Sophie has to find a way to break the spell, which is almost impossible to do. Yes, I know Spirited Away is also a great movie and a favorite of mine, but today I'll tell you only about the moving castle. I love the metaphor which basically surrounds Sophie's curse throughout the whole movie. She was a young girl, but she acted much like an old lady, and she was destined to remain the victim of the curse until she learned how to be assertive and how to love passionately. I can watch this movie again and again, and this is pure magic. WreckIt Ralph, a story about a video game character Ralph who struggles with public opinion and prejudice against villains. He strives to earn respect and prove that he can be a good guy and a hero too. But this desire leads to ultimate disasters. This movie combines the 2 major rules: mentioned above. It makes you laugh, it makes you shed a happy tear. That's it. And also the characters are great and the animation is fantastic. What about the plot? It's wonderful from the beginning till the end. Barbie Mermaidia. A story about a fairy named Alina who was born as the only wingless fairy in Fairytopia. She has just gained a pair of glorious wings after the events of the first movie, but now she has to trade them for a mermaid tail in order to rescue the mermaid prince Nalo and Mermaidia. Alina doesn't want to do that, and she struggles to defeat the evil forces as a fairy and not as a mermaid. I love mermaids, okay? And in my opinion, mermaids from this movie have the right anatomy? Yeah, in my opinion, mermaids from this movie are the most real mermaids ever. Scary Movie 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 3. It's all the same. Yes, time to unveil the dark side of me and step into the 16+ category. Seriously, when I say things, I mean them, and this is 16+. Shh. Some people might call this type of humor too dirty, too immoral, too perverted, but I don't care. I think it's hilarious, mainly because it's fictional and it helps you to relax and chill out. And if you want to know, I also like other parody movies such as Vampires Suck, Date Movie, Superhero Movie, etc. Oh, how can this be? After all the peaceful cartoons, jeez! Well, I think that it's very hard to make a really great parody movie. For example, Scary Movie 4 is a disaster. So that proves that it also requires a lot of effort to create a movie like this. Kung Fu Panda 2. A story about a Kung Fu master and a dragon warrior panda named Po, who has to face a peacock, Lord Shan, who wants to eliminate all Kung Fu masters in China and take over the empire. Do you see that I like one of the movie's characters? Do you? Okay, but how it can be like that? He and the genocide thing and the evil deeds? Yeah, I know. But here's the thing. Shan's a peacock. In a world where mighty big crocodiles or bulls with muscles are considered to be dangerous, I can relate a lot to a neat and slender bird who is a big mystery and an underestimated threat. Aside from Mr. Shan, the movie is very funny, and the fight scenes are brilliant as usual. Meet the Robinsons. A story about an orphan named Louis who travels in time to the future to solve a problem that might be the cause of an apocalypse. Little does he know, the people he'll meet will play the greatest role in his life. This movie is very touching and neatly written and directed. I always enjoy watching it as it fills you with hope and inspiration. The ending is very cool too, and the plot twists are unexpected and captivating. Penelope. A story about a girl named Penelope who is a victim of a curse which caused her nose to look like a pig nose. Due to this problem, Penelope was always deprived of the real life, forced to be locked inside her house, hoping that one day her family would find a man who would have the power to break the curse. It's a decent fairy tale, a cute romantic story, and an exciting adventure. There are some high-quality jokes too. So, all in all, everything in film rocks, no doubt. Banditas. A story about two ladies who have to learn how to rob banks because a ruthless and foul man took everything they had and aimed for stealing lots of money at the cost of innocent people's lives illegally. A great comedy, a captivating adventure movie, and a detective story. Personally, I find it cool. In addition to that, seeing two girls who are ready to fight for justice and freedom is very inspirational. Love in the Afternoon. A story about a girl, Ariane, who falls in love with a middle-aged playboy Mr. Flanagan. To get his attention, Ariane uses a disguise and tells lies about her private life to spend more time with her beloved. The major problem is that Mr. Flanagan doesn't want to marry anyone and plans to leave Ariane sooner or later, just like all the other girls he met before. I find the story unique and very interesting. The actors are spectacular and the music is wonderful. And the ending is just a wow! And I love great endings because bad endings equal to bad movies for me, mostly and sadly. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie. A story about SpongeBob and Patrick who have to retrieve King Neptune's crown until he kills off Mr. Krabs. This movie is hilarious and awesome in every way. Okay? I love it. 10 out of 10. A very motivational picture too. Alright, that's it. My 19 favorite movies. I hope you enjoyed this list of mine, and maybe if you haven't watched some of these movies, you will consider watching them in the near future. I will always wish you to have a great day and stay inspired no matter what. Thank you for being here tonight. Boop! Whose soul is stuck in the